So, welcome back. We have been discussing on classification, systematics, taxonomy. We introduced the international the system of classification as accepted by ICZN, isn't it? So here we will be learning in this particular module. We will be learning about the history of classification. Okay, and as per your syllabus, you are supposed to learn the 5 kingdom classification and 8 kingdom classification. But before we reached 5 kingdom classification, which was proposed by Whittaker, there had been many systems of classification proposed by many different scientists. Okay, it all started with Carolus Linnaeus, who classified. Actually, Carolus Linnaeus was one of the few scientists who put forward a scientific system of classification. Earlier, Aristotle, who was considered to be the father of biology, uh, Aristotle had put forward a classification, but it was not. We have already seen natural system classification and artificial system, isn't it? But it was purely based on the habitat. So what happened is all those aquatic organisms were put in the same group. For example, if it was Animalia, you could see fishes along with dolphins, along with jellyfishes, because they were all aquatic. Just based on the habitat they live, they were grouped into one group. Okay, so it was erroneous. Such kind of classification cannot be accepted on the scientific basis. But such a scientific basis of classification, it started with Carolus Linnaeus, the 2 kingdom classification. Okay, and Carolus Linnaeus, he divided it into all plants under kingdom Plantae and all animals under kingdom Animalia. Then came the what you call 3 kingdom classification by Ernst Haeckel in 1860s, and he proposed a third kingdom other than kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. A third kingdom was introduced. Why they had actually left the smaller organisms? Because the the technology was not so advanced to know the presence of lower organisms. Maybe that may be the reason, isn't that? So here what happened is Ernst Haeckel, 1860s, he proposed a third kingdom other than Plantae and Animalia proposed by Carolus Linnaeus, and it was kingdom Protista. Okay, so even it is otherwise referred as protosystem. So the organisms like unicellular organisms were included under Protista, and all the plants, multicellular plants were included under kingdom Plantae. Multicellular animals were included under kingdom Animalia. Okay, so later on, all organisms other than microscopic organisms were included in the Protista. Okay, other than these two, all other organisms were included under kingdom Protista. But later studies show that showed that these Protista, the particular what you call kingdom, included many other what you call, it was a heterogeneous group, and a single kingdom or single group of kingdom Protista cannot include all the organisms in the same group. Okay, why? Because the organisms which were included in kingdom Protista were heterogeneous. So it was like earlier grouping. For example, when we discussed about the classification put forward by Aristotle, what happened is that it was based on habitat, isn't it? So based on habitat, when a classification was made, it included like jellyfishes, it included starfishes, it included the fishes, it included the dolphins. So all these coming under the same group because they were all aquatic in nature, right? But such a grouping is known as heterogeneous grouping. Okay, so Protista, when it was introduced by Ernst Haeckel, it included the heterogeneous group because all other organisms whichever was discovered, whichever were discovered, other than plants and animals, were included under Protista. Okay, so it was so heterogeneous that it included different groups of organisms under the same kingdom. Okay, so it a new classification system had to be introduced, and it was done by Copland in Herbert Copland in under 4 kingdom classification, and Copland assigned a separate kingdom for the prokaryotic bacteria and cyanobacteria. Okay, and the 4 kingdoms were the kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, then kingdom like Plantae and kingdom Animalia. Okay, so it could be Plantae and Animalia. And Plantae, it was referred as Metaphyta, and this one as Metazoa. Okay, Phyta referring to plants and Zoa referring to animals. Okay, so it was simply Monera, Protista, Plantae, and Animalia. Okay, so Monera included all the prokaryotic organisms like bacteria and cyanobacteria. Protista included all the unicellular eukaryotes. Plantae included multicellular advanced eukaryotic plants. Metazoa or Animalia included multicellular eukaryotic animals. Okay, and this system, it was also unrealistic because kingdom Plantae also comprised fungi, which were non-chlorophyllate, non-photosynthetic. So all the fungus were also included under, all the fungi were also included under the metaphyta. Okay. Now, then came up the final five kingdom classification. Five kingdom classification, which was put forward by Whitaker in 1969. It is not 1869, it is 1969 because it is in sequential order. You can see here. Okay, so it was in 1969. And Whitaker's five kingdom classification was widely accepted, and it had been accepted and followed for a pretty long amount of years. Okay, and you can see Whitaker, he proposed a five kingdom classification, and he actually took out fungi from metaphyta and erected a new kingdom, kingdom fungi. Okay, so it was kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. Okay, so instead of mycota, metaphyta, metazoa, you can write fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. No issues. Okay, so actually Whitaker came up with the five kingdom classification, and he came elevated fungus to a independent kingdom status, and he provided a separate kingdom for bacteria and cyanobacteria under Monera. So the five kingdoms were these five. Okay, and this scheme of classification was accepted by most of the biologists and were followed by for a longer period of time. Now, what were the basis of classification? So, criteria for delimiting kingdom. Okay, these are the criteria upon which the five kingdom classification was put forward by R.H. Whitaker. Okay, so the first one was complexity of cell structure. So, the most preliminary classification criterion was on prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Okay, so with the complexity of cell structure, so all the prokaryotic organisms were included under kingdom Monera, right? And eukaryotic organisms were taken out of the kingdom Monera. Then complexity of body structure or structural organization. So once prokaryotes and eukaryotes have been differentiated, all the eukaryotes were divided into two, unicellular and multicellular. Okay, all the unicellular eukaryotes were put under kingdom Protista, while multicellular organisms, eukaryotic multicellular organisms were separated out. Okay, next level of classification was based on mode of nutrition. Okay, so all the eukaryotic multicellular phototrophic or autotrophic organisms were put under kingdom Plantae, while all the eukaryotic multicellular saprophytic organisms were put under kingdom Fungi. Okay, and all eukaryotic multicellular holozoic nutrition. Okay, organisms taking a holozoic mode of nutrition, they were put under Animalia. Okay, so there were three groups, right? So we had prokaryote, all the prokaryotes under kingdom Monera, eukaryotic unicellular under Protista, eukaryotic multicellular phototrophic under Plantae, eukaryotic multicellular saprophytic under kingdom Fungi, eukaryotic multicellular heterotrophic holozoic groups under kingdom Animalia. So 5 kingdoms. Okay, but these 5 kingdom classification also reflects the ecological lifestyle, whether they are producers, decomposers, consumers. Even they also exhibit or shows the phylogenetic relationships between these 5 kingdoms or organisms belonging to the 5 kingdoms. Yeah, you will see with the figure. Alright, so here you can see the first base of classification was the complexity of cell. So all the prokaryotes were put under kingdom Monera. That was the first group or the lowest group. Okay, it's not the first group, the lowest group. Okay, and now we have the eukaryotes left over. All the eukaryotes were divided into 2 based upon the complexity of organisms, the unicellular and multicellular. All the eukaryotic unicellular were put under kingdom Protista. Okay, and the eukaryotic multicellular were further divided into 3 kingdoms based upon their mode of nutrition. Okay, so all the autotrophic, that is the producers, were put under kingdom Plantae. All the heterotrophic or what you call saprotrophic actually decomposers were put under kingdom Fungi, and all the consumers or the heterotrophic holozoid groups were put under kingdom Animalia. Clear? Okay, and here you can see the evolution also. So, as we already mentioned, ecological role also is reflected in this particular classification. And direction of evolution, you can see this is the simplest one. Okay, so this 5 kingdom classification also reflects the direction of evolution, in the sense the first formed groups on the earth could be prokaryotic. Okay, and slowly along the what you call evolutionary path, these were the ones which were recently evolved. Okay, that is the Plantae, fungi and animalia were appeared recently, right? While prokaryotes, they appeared very early, okay, compared to these groups. Clear? So evolutionary path also it is exhibited or it is shown by the system of classification, 5 kingdom system of classification. I hope it is clear. Okay, and then we can see the characters. Okay, so this we can see the 5 kingdoms, right? And these 5 kingdoms, the various characters. Usually, these characters are the ones with which we can differentiate the 5 groups. Okay, Monera, it is prokaryotic. All the rest 4 kingdoms are eukaryotic. Okay, except for the Monera, all the kingdoms are eukaryotic. Okay, because it is prokaryotic, they don't have any, you can see, organelles, isn't it? Except for the ribosomes, they may not have any. Ribosomes are nucleus. Okay, so they don't have any other such any other organelles, right? No tissue level of complexity, we cannot say. Okay, they are autotrophic or chemotrophic, or even for this one heterotrophic in nature, right? And obviously no tissue level complexity, so obviously nervous system is not there, right? And the motility is brought about by flagella, and they have typical bacterial kind of cell wall. Okay, it is not cellulosic, it is a peptidoglycan cell wall. Okay, peptidoglycan cell wall. Peptido means it is protein, that is why it is written amino acid. Glycan means it is related with carbohydrate, polysaccharide. Okay, so it is peptidoglycan cell wall, which is very unique to monerans. Okay, so I hope it is clear, right? And what about protista? Okay, all the eukaryotes which are unicellular in nature. Okay, it has been put into protista. They are what you call unicellular, and hence it does have all the cell characters. They do have the chloroplast, mitochondria, nuclear membrane, nucleus, etc. But they don't have a tissue formation. Okay, and all other characters which we have mentioned. Now, fungi, they don't have chloroplast. The rest of the structures are there, and obviously nervous system they don't have. Nervous system is present mainly in the case of Animalia, and we can say that is unique to the Animalia. Okay, this I needn't explain, actually it is already mentioned in the table. Okay, now when we pass on to the merits and demerits, 5 kingdom classification, they reveal the course of evolution. Starting from 2 kingdom to 4 kingdom, we saw that many scientists have come up with different system of classification, but for 5 kingdom classification, they were unique because they had, as per the 5 kingdom classification revealed the course of evolution of early organisms into plants and animals. Okay, early organisms to plants and animals, how they have evolved. That particular course of evolution was reflected in 5 kingdom classification. And plant kingdom and animal kingdom, they were more homogeneous as against the plant kingdom and animal kingdom in 2 kingdom or 3 kingdom classification. Here in 5 kingdom classification, they were a little more homogeneous. Okay, then prokaryote included in separate kingdom. That is, earlier it was mixed up. So here what happened is there was a separate kingdom solely for prokaryotic organisms, which was this kingdom Monera. Okay, so this could be separated from the which was separated from the higher plants or kingdom Plantae. Okay, then next you can see this unicellular organisms were included in Protista. Okay, such a kingdom was not placed by any earlier classification system, but this was again unique to 5 kingdom classification. And further, fungi, earlier it was included under kingdom Plantae, isn't it? But here it was erected as a separate independent kingdom, right? Now, demerits of 5 kingdom classification, right? This will be dealing it in detail in the coming